All right. Section YY podcast. This is my second show this week. You're all's first. I had a little short impromptu show on Tuesday night with the guys from Hoops Southbound to preview the Tennessee-Arkansas game, and we'll get into that in a minute. But Harbin was a little butthurt that he wasn't invited. So
no. I wasn't butthurt. I was just pointing out to Day that we're chopped liver.
Well,
it's true.
Spade's a spade.
Yeah, it is what it is. I ain't mad at you. Do your thing, honey. It is what it is, though.
Well, it was kind of a last minute thing, and he could only be on at a certain time, and sorry. It was good. It was good insight though.
I know, apology needed, man.
If you don't have any other podcasts to listen to and you're a basketball junkie like I am, check them out. They talk about mainly basketball in the Southeast. They'll hit a little bit on the Big 12, like Texas, Oklahoma. They're from Arkansas, so they've got the Big 12 ties still in them. But good show. They kind of bounce around quite a bit, but they are Hogs. So God bless them after last night. What a beatdown that was. Dang. It's what you love to see it, Harbin, don't you?
I absolutely love to see it. Yeah. We could have easily laid down after Z went down, but the way they responded was really cool to see. So, and we really needed that the way the last 6 weeks or so, or last month or so went. So, yeah, it was good.
Yeah, I heard about it. I was announcing the Carter Clinton, actually 2 games last night. Anderson County and Halls was the first game. Then the main event was Carter and Clinton. And we got a text message from several people, I think you all included, right as the game was ending, that Double Z had went down and it didn't look good. And I'm sitting there thinking like, God, we just got Triple J back. We just, I think, got Phillips back, which he did play last night.
That was his first game back.
And now this team hadn't been healthy in almost a month. And I've been saying on here, we can go back and find it, but like when this team's I wanted to see this team healthy for March, and they're not going to be now. So they got to find a way. I texted you all last night, next man up, and they did that last night. Day, you were there. What'd you think about it?
About just the game in general?
Just life in general.
Life in general. Well, I mean, I didn't know if you were talking about just the injury.
No, just the game and how Tennessee I guess I was just impressed, and that's what winning programs do. When something like that happens,
they just
keep on and
to
go.
The next one. I mean, it sounds terrible, but that's what you got to do. I mean, because at any time anybody can go down. But I mean, I don't know if the game plan changed per se, but they attacked the rim better than I've seen them attack the rim any this year. And I'm not saying Ziegler doesn't attack the rim, because he does. It's just we attacked it in such a different way. There was times where we literally passed out wide open layups because we didn't realize it was going to be that open, I think.
Yeah. One of the first ones I saw when I got home was Triple J, I think. Was that in the second half when he literally had a dunk and he passed it to Adu or Kamwa. I can't remember which one.
And it's just like, but that's what they're used to doing, because that help comes over, and they couldn't help over because of our, I don't know, just the scheme we had going. We played with a lot of length. And Ziegler, he isn't your best defender, Meshack is, but he's hard to replace on the defensive end, I think. The offense is going to be, I mean, we've had some stinkers without him, doesn't matter, but it looked good last night. They looked smooth. They looked like they were comfortable. You know, everybody's like, who's point guard? Vescovi's point guard. I mean, that's who they're going to roll with. It's going to be a committee thing, but that's who they're going to roll with. Dude came in to play point guard at Tennessee, and then he got to slide over to what everybody thinks is a more natural position. But go back and look at all his shots. He shoots better off the dribble. I'm excited to let him shoot off the dribble. That's just me looking at it now. I don't know how far they'll go. I'm not putting anything on that. It's just I think they'll be okay and can still play and be okay.
Yeah, I mean, you got to look at who they beat last night. That's I think anywhere, like if you listen to the show that I did with the Hoops Southbound guys, that that team last night's anywhere from a 7 to a 10, depending on where you look at. So they're kind of a wide range, like he said, but that's a team that Tennessee could play possibly just depending on where they're at in the second or third round. So the round of 32 or Sweet 16. So it's like we've said all year, they can beat anybody. But how are they going to react when everything's on the line without a true point guard out there? And we saw how Vescovi struggled last year against Michigan in that game. But I think where they're sitting right now, they're in pretty good shape. I don't think they can fall any further down than a 4 seed at this point from what I'm seeing.
Shoot, people are talking about a 2 seed. I'm like, what in the world?
I mean, I'm not
But I mean, it's
buying that.
possible.
I mean, I guess it's possible, but I don't know. I think they were the second on Lenardi's right now. He's got us as the 10th overall seed. So that would be like the second, third seed, I believe. Is that right? So, yeah. And I
think that's fair.
Yeah, I was kind of waiting until games were done tonight to look to see where we were at because there was a bunch of games going on tonight. But, yeah, I think Tennessee right now is in that 2 to 4 range, but more likely 3 to 4. But that's what they're going to – that Arkansas team is somebody they could see in like the Sweet 16 round or something. It just depends on how things fall. But I thought it was a great win, gutty win, and they played well.
Yeah. Real quick, I do want to point out, I got last-minute tickets about an hour and a half before tip. I was in the 300 levels, gave $8 a piece for them, and ended up pulling Heist of the Century. Sat about 12th row behind Tennessee's bench.
I was about to say, the pictures you sent, you were you were down low.
Yeah, I had a buddy that was sitting like, I think it was like 12th or 13th row. And he shot me a text, said, "Hey, there's 2 open seats. I don't think they're coming." So we rolled on down there and was brushing elbows with the importance.
Nice.
So,
How'd it feel? How'd you feel down there?
Out of place. Wasn't a big fan. I mean, the seats were great, don't get me wrong, but the clientele that is in section 104 as opposed to like 311. It's like two different ball games, dude.
Like you're on a different planet, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
I need to get you up in the skybox sometime, Harbin. See how you feel about that place.
I don't know, man. I think I was just born for upper deck seats.
Big Montana has just joined us. He can. I mean, what do you think? Would Harbin fit in the skybox at Neyland Stadium, or would he be out of place?
You need a haircut first, probably. I dig the hair, but some of the blue hairs up there might not appreciate it.
I believe that, and I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah.
I'd rather, especially for a football game, I would much rather be down there with the Savages anyway. I don't need to be in I don't need to be in an air conditioned and heated box.
Well, I've said for years, the reason why Nice and you and anybody else needs to be up in the skybox is not for the football game. It's to find a woman up there.
Yeah, I believe that too.
Yeah, because that's worked so well for me over the years.
You haven't found a woman up there yet.
I've taken 2 up there, and it's been a miserable, failed experiment.
You don't want to take anybody up there. You want to take one from up there.
I got you. Well, we'll work on that.
The ones
maybe
that are up
next year.
there, the ones that are up there for a reason.
That's true.
The kind of woman I want.
They got a daddy or a papa up there sporting the wood.
The kind of woman I want in my life is going to be in section NN anyway. So that's fine.
Listen, you put in 5 years.
Wendell Green is terrible at
you can have any
basketball.
woman you want.
Well, Day, what'd you say?
That Green kid from Auburn, he's so bad.
So
Point
is that
guard.
number 0?
Number 1. He's the one that fake flopped that you guys said he got fouled.
Oh yeah.
So
I don't know why Bruce Pearl puts the ball in his hand. He is not someone that's going to win you a game.
Well, it's the same thing as like last year. Why did he take the ball out of Jabari Smith's hand?
Took it out of Jabari Smith, and it was in that kid's hand. It's like,
yes.
I mean, he plays D1 basketball. He's not terrible, but you know what I mean.
So what we talked about it a little bit. What's this double Z injury mean for Tennessee going forward? I mean, we got Auburn left this Saturday. very winnable game. I know it's at Auburn Arena or whatever it's called now. But I think Tennessee will probably be favored in that game. And then the SEC tournament where, we win Saturday. We're at least a 4 seed. Kentucky lost to Vandy tonight last second. So there's still an opportunity to be the 3 seed. And we just need Arkansas to beat Kentucky Saturday and Bud Walton. But I don't know. What's your all's take on where Tennessee goes from here with Double Z gone?
I mean, it's going to be a challenge for sure, especially considering the guy was probably our primary point guard and played upwards of 30 minutes a game, half the time. So, yeah, I mean, it's a big chunk taken out of our rotation. But it's like Nice said, it's next man up. I mean, there's no excuse. I mean, have Vescovi, have Triple J, maybe a little bit of Phillips. I don't know. Somebody's gonna have to step up, get out of their comfort zone, and fill that role. On the flip side, though, I'm gonna pull a little page out of Nice's book. Speaking of analytics, we might not be screwed because out of people that actually played, did he not have the worst plus minus on the team?
It's skewed though. He was playing like close to 40 minutes a game.
Right. Yeah. I'm not saying that. Like, obviously, this is a negative. I'm not trying to spin it into a positive. But
I'm just saying, like that, like I saw that plus minus thing too. And usually that's like a very good indicator, but he plays so much that he gets all the ebbs and flows of the game. So it's not like Phillips comes in and he's got plus 10 and Meshack comes in and it's a -4,
right.
It's
right.
just a little different. But yes, I know what you're saying.
Yeah. And like you said earlier, I mean, he wasn't our best defender, probably our second best defender. Meshack's a torture chamber. But yeah, I mean, I think with like if Phillips and Triple J stay healthy, I don't think we're screwed, especially with the way we played last night, responding after Z went down.
Mm-hmm.
Which I mean, we've done this all year long. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I know what's about to happen over the next 3 weeks.
I was about to say, like, I was sitting there watching the second half last night, and I was like, they did not play like this with him in the lineup at different points in the season. And they did play like this with him in the lineup at different points. But, like, this team's just so up and down. I don't understand. I really don't.
What they are. I mean, they get to be a team with length at every position for the first time this year.
Yeah.
And, I mean, so I told somebody today, it's like the advantage, your scout is different than it's ever been. So they get to watch all this game film all year, and they can't just focus in on, okay, we stopped this. No, it's different. I mean, it is different. You're going to attack the rim differently, doing a lot of things differently now. Now, it was just one game, but I noticed how it was different in that Arkansas game.
I think a lot of it is, I guess for the first 3 years, 2 or 3 years, whatever it's been, that Euros has played, we wanted him to use his size, and he's finally starting to do so. Like anytime we play well, or 99% of the time we play well, he has a good game. And I don't think that's coincidence. It's a very late blossom, but I think he's kind of turning the corner and being that big guy that we've wanted all year. We kind of always thought it was going to be Kamwa, but I mean, when he's in the game, like, you can tell, like, and if he continues to play, like if we continue getting like 10 points, 6 rebounds, and a block or 2 out of him, I mean, that's going to be.
He don't even have to get 10 points, 6 points.
Yeah,
and
6, 8,
bringing
whatever.
his energy with no negative energy.
Right. No. Like if he can keep his cool, but channel that like competitive spirit into something productive, along with Adu and Awaka being productive, like I think we're going to be fine, truthfully.
I think that if you had to lose a player between Vescovi, James, and Euros and Ziegler, I think Ziegler is the most easy to replace. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I think like guys could fill in better and fill his position versus if you lost somebody else. Honestly, the kid from Knoxville, I think he's might be playing a little bit, but I think Vescovy is going to handle most of the ball handling or plays, whatever you want to call it. So I think we're going to be in good hands, but I do think his quickness and toughness on defense is something you're going to miss more than him actually being a point guard. But this team, I mean, I saw it the other day. It said if this team loses the first game of the tournament, I won't be surprised if they're cutting down the nets in the Final Four. I wouldn't be surprised. This team is good enough to do whatever it wants to do. And it can be bad enough to get embarrassed on the first or second night of the tournament. So man, I just hope they show up. Like, I know we have a good time of trolling each other and doing all this, but at the end of the day, man, like I want these guys to succeed. I want Tennessee to win every national championship in every sport. And I don't want to see some of the teams that have done it in the past do it again. I'm tired of it. I want to see somebody new. I just hope we get a good matchup going forward. I feel like last year we had a good matchup, but then we ran into Michigan, and it was just a perfect storm for what we had going. So
what's crazy is we talk about guard play, how it wins in March. We had the best guards we've had in the Barnes era, and we get beat because of bigs.
Yeah,
like,
you're right. That's what I said on that Hoops when I had him on Hoops Southbound. Like every year, it's been something different with Tennessee. And I know we'll have an NCAA tournament show here coming up in a couple of weeks, but it's been something different every year. The 17-18 season, we ran into Sister Jean and Loyola Marymount Chicago, or Loyola
lost
Chicago.
Alexander, right? That's the year we lost Alexander.
Yes, Alexander was out.
PP's out.
Then the next year, we lost to Purdue on that heart, whatever you want to call that. I didn't think it was a foul. Went to overtime and lost.
It wasn't a foul.
I mean, we missed like 18
we didn't lose
free throws
that year, right? That was probably the only year I think we didn't lose somebody at the end of the year. Major contributor. I think we
probably right. Yeah, I don't remember. I think they were fully stacked that tournament. But I mean, they ran into Purdue, who ended up, I think, Virginia ended up beating them in the Elite Eight, if I remember correctly.
Because that's the year they won. Virginia won it.
And then last year you got Michigan. I mean, it was just like these teams just get on a roll, and it's like we just can't. And he said it too. He was like, some of the things you all have said about, Rick Barnes has built this pretty powerful program here. He's done it the right way, and they just can't get over the hump in March. But it's like you keep knocking on the door so many times, the numbers tell you that at some point it's going to happen. And is it this year? I don't know. I really don't. Like if we had Ziegler tonight and we won that game last night, I tell you Tennessee's getting ready to roll right now. Without him, I don't know, because they're going to be going into uncharted waters with a different lineups. Like Barnes said last night after the game, there's a bunch of guys on the court that hadn't really practiced with each other. And I thought they played pretty well considering that fact, but I just don't know what to expect from them. I'm pretty confident that they'll, they win Saturday. I think they can win at least one game in the SEC tournament and get to the semifinals. After that, I don't know.
Honestly, I don't even care if they do anything in the SEC tournament. I know that sounds terrible because you always want them to win, but it's like, man, some of these guys just need to rest.
That's what, I think we talked about it last week. Like, I either want them to win it all or maybe just get beat Friday or Thursday, whenever it is, and get ready for the tournament. But I don't know. If you had to ask me right now, I think this is a Sweet 16 team. Probably at best. I think they can go further, but I think they're a Sweet 16 team right now, because I think those first two rounds of the NCAA tournament, and it all depends on who they play. They're going to play a team that's lesser than Arkansas, and we've seen them struggle against those type of teams this year, but the numbers are going to tell you that they should win those games. So I don't know. We'll see.
I'm not shaking my head at you. I'm watching this Bama game.
Yeah, I am too.
I didn't even.
I'm sitting here shaking my head at everything you're saying.
I didn't even see you. For those listening and not watching, Big Montana was apparently shaking his head. Good for you, Big Montana. Good for you.
Good for
Bruce is,
you.
Bruce is mad. Look, I've been coaching good this game.
Hey,
Big Montana wants me to win.
Hey, I looked this up today. I didn't realize it was this good. Tennessee's record at home under Rick Barnes. This goes back to every year he's been here. 108-22.
That's incredible.
83% winning percentage. So his worst year was 2019-2020 at 11-6. And then the first 2 years they were 12-4, 11-5. But then after that, there's no less than 3 losses, or no more than 3 losses. 14-2 this year. Yeah, 14-2 this year, 16-0 last year, 13-3 in 2021, 18-0 in 18-19, 13-2 and 17-18. I just, for all the people that say Thompson Bowling's too quiet, all that stuff, it may be, but teams really struggle here. And the guy from the Hoop Southbound podcast, I didn't realize this until he said it, but Musselman's never won here in Thompson Bowling Arena as Arkansas's coach. So it's not an easy place to play. He ranked it the 3rd hardest place to play in the conference behind Bud Walton and Rupp.
I think that's fair.
It used to have
Auburn's a pretty tough place now that they redid it.
Auburn's tough, and then the O-Dome used to be tough, but it's not tough anymore.
Well, I mean, they haven't been good in a little while, so.
And I also found stained underwear in there in 2005. And it smells like a swimming pool. So yeah.
I remember
Lenardi just put up the bracketology. He has us as a 3 at the moment.
I remember Bowden told us when he was in college, he said Arkansas was far and beyond the hardest place to play in the SEC. So
Lots of rednecks.
Yeah. Here's my question to y'all, though. I wanted to ask this before we go on a tangent. How important do you think the SEC tournament is in seeding purposes? Or do you think we're pretty locked in unless we win it?
I don't think it matters at all.
It's worthless. Well, here's the thing. It was worthless last year and we won it. And
listen,
they'll hold it against us if we go out early.
You're forced to play it. Go win it. That's the way I look at it. You're forced to play it. Go win it. Win a trophy. If you got a chance to win the damn thing, win it. Now, do I understand that it might be beneficial to get a couple more days rest? Yes, I understand that too. But if you win a trophy, anything, win the damn trophy.
I agree.
That's how.
Oh yeah. And Tennessee under Rick Barnes has done really well. I looked back the other day for the last 4 tournaments that have been played. We've been in the semifinals or better, and I think we've been in 3 of the last 4 championship games.
I was gonna say we've been in a lot of championship games.
I guess my question to y'all is, I feel like obviously it didn't matter last year and that was kind of horseshit, but I feel like it could matter a little bit more this year just from how volatile the top 20-ish have been. Because outside the top 3, there's been no consistency. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I'm not saying the committee's changing their thought process, but, I mean, hell, there could be some crazy shit go down in the next week.
Well, I mean, I'm looking at scores right now tonight. I mean, we're recording this on Wednesday night. TCU, who's ranked, is beating Texas. I mean, they're ranked if you look at the polls in front of Tennessee. Let's see. That's really Maryland lost
Missouri at the moment.
Wow, Maryland. I mean, Tennessee beat Maryland earlier in the year. They lost to Ohio State tonight. Kentucky lost. Pitt lost. I mean, all teams below Tennessee. But
how's that not a foul? Did you see that? Sorry.
Day-Day's watching the Auburn-Alabama game for those listening at home and watching. Alabama's currently up 5 in overtime. Well, it'll be interesting to see.
That's Flanagan? No. Who's 44? He's good. It's important.
So
he won't be playing against us.
Good.
He's walking. Get over
it. He'll be fine.
Tape it. Get back out there.
I'm sure he'll be fine and he'll have a career.
I was about to say that, Nate. He'll have a damn career day.
He'll have a career day on Saturday.
Yeah.
Just a miracle.
What about Brandon Miller?
By the way, Reagan will be at the game Saturday.
Okay.
Sad. So
what about Brandon Miller?
Day, what's your thoughts on Brandon Miller and the pat down that they do? It's just a TSA thing. Come on.
I thought it was MMA.
It was MMA by their fans, you know. I mean, have some self-awareness. I mean, you're just mocking. You're setting yourself up for a future civil suit, and they have ammo saying that, there was no remorse from the situation. I mean, they have video. They have video proof that
they have
he
ammo.
was too just too self-absorbed to realize what that whole thing was about. I mean, they don't care. They clearly don't care.
They don't care, but they want to win championships. I kind of admire it to an extent.
I mean, I don't admire that. I mean,
I don't
do I
either.
think he should be kicked off the team?
They will literally do anything to win championships.
Yeah.
Is what I'm getting.
I mean, I think what he meant was
I don't think he should be kicked off the team.
Not giving a damn.
He's has no criminal charges, but he should have not been playing while there was investigation going on with bullet holes in his car. I mean,
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm more upset with Nate Oates in the situation than Brandon Miller.
Nate Oates is terrible.
It's awful. I mean, he's backtracked and sidestepped
it's terrible
like 17 times in this.
Unbelievably stupid the stuff he said.
And Nate Oates and their AD Greg Byrne, they're all in on it. I mean, they
all
pushed
in.
their chips into the table, and this is the route they're going, and they're going to stick by it until I'm really surprised the SEC hasn't stepped in and done something,
but because there's no legality for it.
But we've seen them suspend coaches and others for like way less than this. I mean, I know there's been no charges filed
because then.
But there is testimony. There is sworn testimony that links him to this. And while this investigation is going on, why is he playing? That's my question: is why is he allowed to play while this is going on when there's been other things that have happened around this conference over the years that you've got guys that can't coach in the league anymore, whether it be whatever sport it may be. Tony Vitello had to sit out 3 games this past weekend, although it was Tennessee that did it. But I think it was a gesture to say, like, hey, we're doing this, leave us alone, kind of like they're trying to do with Pruitt, but that's not working. And he set out 3 games this past weekend because he talked to a player before he entered the portal. Come on. I mean, that's my thing with this whole thing is there's no balance in how they handle these situations.
It's because they're top 10 team. They're the best in your conference. They're not going to kick up now. I would say if it was Tennessee, they would have already put us out the pasture.
He would be expelled the day it came out if he was wearing orange. I mean,
and honestly, he should be. He broke like 5 different school rules. But
yeah, no, I mean, I ain't disagreeing with that. But
at the point of criminal charges, no, I mean, we had a dude beat up a guy because he was entering his house multiple times and he had to sit out 3 games. And I don't even think it was a key piece. Clearly not. We beat Alabama. They couldn't beat us with our backups. But I mean, it's under investigation. His name is linked. You have to sit him out. That's kind of was my viewpoint. And they hit it. That makes it even worse. Nate Oates should be suspended. Not this year necessarily because they got to gather evidence and stuff. But, I mean, he should serve something because he covered up stuff.
Well,
they'll suspend him 2 games in November next year.
He won't be there next year.
You're in this country, you're innocent until proven guilty. So let's take away that it was, murder. Let's just say it was a burglary. Would we still feel the same way? Because it's all hearsay at this point because there's no, evidence other than the text message. So
on the bullet holes in his car.
Well, I mean, I could get bullet holes in my truck being at Texas Roadhouse at midnight on a Saturday night.
They already said he was there.
But I'm pretty sure the investigator has sworn in his statements that he was there. I mean, I think it's pretty much a fact he was there.
And he hasn't denied that.
Or assisted in it, in whatever way. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, don't get me wrong. The morality of this is bad. It doesn't look good at all. If he was being a little bit humble about it and sincere and wasn't getting a pat down, I think I might feel a little bit different. But I don't know. It's one of those things like last year, Alvin Kamara played football, right? Well, he was under investigation for beating the shit out of somebody in Las Vegas. Well, the
He
video
needs to
come
come on
out.
down from the Jumbotron, by the way.
Yeah, the video come out, and here we are. So I think everything in due process will figure it
Yeah.
out. The best thing that could happen to this kid is that he does get charged 30 minutes before he gets drafted in the NBA. That would be just, karma.
Kind of like Jalen Carter.
Man, that's
Yeah, I
so
saw it.
messed up. Like,
It is.
in a way, like, wait a day. I mean, I guess.
No.
I don't know.
No. That dude didn't even stay when he saw his friends die in front of him.
That Jalen Carter situation is a little confusing to me. I mean, how is he linked to that? I didn't read a whole lot into it.
Racing them.
No, I know, but how do we know that? Was there text messages, traffic cam? Like, how do we know that?
There's traffic cams that put him with them. Apparently, the power lines that they hit left marks on top of his car.
Damn.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Well, Alabama just beat Auburn.
Yep, they did.
So, Saturday, Tennessee at Auburn.
That is actually good for Tennessee versus Auburn. They used a lot of energy in this game.
Yes. And does that – well, let's go around here. Does Tennessee win Saturday? Anybody? Harbin.
Yes.
We're
Yes.
78% prediction to win on BPI. Day, does Tennessee win?
I think we do. I really do.
Big Montana.
I think they do, just because I don't think Auburn's that good. I think it'll be close. I think it's going to be ugly, just like the game here. Hopefully Tennessee can figure it out.
I need a win because this could be the last time that Tennessee plays Auburn in basketball with Reagan at school there. And so I need a win so I can rub her nose in it like I did last year. And then she called and left me a voicemail and dropped F-bombs on me and cussed me out. Because
we're going to be a top 4
seeding.
seed anyway, right?
Yeah, LSU is absolutely putting it on Missouri.
If we get a good amount, if we get a lot of points in the paint like we did against Arkansas, I think we handle them. I ain't saying blow them out, but kind of win handedly.
We just got to shoot well. We just got to shoot the basketball well.
What's like that is like we're in new territory because this is now the longest we've been all season. So I mean, we don't really know what's going to happen.
We don't have to rely on that 3-ball anymore.
I am kind of looking forward to I guess it'd be Vescovi, Phillips, James, Adu, Euros potential lineup. I really like that lineup. I think that's probably one of our best 5 going forward.
You gotta have Meshack in there somewhere.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, he's been good.
I know it's a good problem to have, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I forgot. So start Meshack instead of Phillips. I kind of like Phillips coming off the bench, actually, now that you say that. But I think we're going to be fine. I think we're going to attack a lot more, and it's going to lead to better looks by Nart. But, hell, I don't know. This is speculation. I think we win, though.
I think the Vols win, too, and I will call Reagan after the game and let her have it. Too bad. Time to grow up. Auburn sucks. It is a beautiful place, a beautiful campus. I'll be down there in May, sometime in May, early May for graduation. So looking forward to that. Apparently I'm going to Sky Bar one night. That's the big hangout down in Auburn. So we'll be going down there. I think it's early May. So, but more to come on that later. So anything else from college basketball world we need to talk about?
No, but I need to move on to Tony Vitello and his quote.
Yeah, let's talk about the Vols baseball team. So we didn't really talk about them much on last week's show, but Tennessee did not have Maui Ahuna. The NCAA had not cleared him as of yet. And Tennessee, quote unquote, suspended Tony Vitello last weekend. He set out the Dayton series at Lindsey Nelson Stadium. It didn't matter. Dayton's bad. Tennessee's very, very good. So right now they won again today over Charleston Southern. I think we've won 8 in a row. So Tennessee's rolling. Burke is just pounding the baseball.
He's filthy.
Burke bombs. Pitching staff is just humming right along. So I'm not real sure what the whole holdup on Maui Ahuna was. I heard all kinds of different things. It was Tim Corbin. It was Kansas's coach. I don't know why Kansas's coach would have cared that much. He's brand new. The other guy left. I don't know. So
came from LSU.
That's true. But yeah, that's that whole situation. What did you think about it, Day? You had a little insight on it, supposedly. You said that he wasn't going to be back.
I was trolling you, but I mean, I got texted that he was going to be suspended, and it could possibly be a long one, and I was like, huh? Because that kind of came out of nowhere in the sense of nobody had said anything about it yet, and then the next day he's serving a 3-game, and then they were like, well, it could be a little bit longer. It wasn't going to be the year, but it could be a little bit longer. That's really all they said. They didn't say why. And then, of course, every media outlet was talking about how it was going to be the thing with Maui, but it took them this long to decide to do that. I mean, they knew last June.
I was about to say, supposedly they opened an investigation in July last year. Like, what took so long?
I mean, if you knew that there was an issue, why wait until the first game? 30 minutes before.
I don't understand. Is the NCAA that backlog with these type of cases that it takes them years to do this? Like, what is the holdup? Like, we're almost 3 years? Is it 3 years now away from Pruitt? When did all that happen? 2021.
I mean, pretty much 3 years.
Two calendar years, almost 3 seasons now. And they still are talking about it. Like, what is the problem here?
Doesn't make any sense.
I tell you what, we would act a lot more quickly at Parks and Recreation on something like this. We would have this case open and closed within 2 or 3 days.
I mean,
I think they act on it as like a RICO case, because I think a lot of times they don't have enough when they start the investigation, and they're just hoping that more shit comes out, or something else happens in a different sport that's kind of like it, to where they can all link it all together and use that as a cornerstone of their investigation. I think they wait, and it lets the school police themselves. They might tell on themselves for something. Coach gets fired, then makes a statement that tells on somebody else, so they can go look at that. But 2 years is entirely too long. I mean, we've known the ins and outs of this since it happened. But in my eyes, like, if you look at the situation, we fired the coach, we fired all the coaches, all the kids that were involved left. Why punish kids that has nothing to do with? Why punish, anyone? Yeah. I mean, we literally didn't gain anything from it, obviously, other than, not having to pay a coach to leave. That was the only benefit to this whole entire situation.
Philip Fulmer gained a retirement check, another retirement check.
And he deserves it. Listen, if you win a national championship at a school, they should give you $100,000 a year for life. It's worth it.
Wow.
Said it.
Hey, Harb Bowling must have been watching The Dark Knight. He's talking about a RICO case over here. Wasn't that what Harvey Dent tried to get the?
It's actually, I actually learned about that from Sopranos, which you still have.
Which I haven't watched.
Get on it, Neith.
The NCAA looks at it as it's not about the money; it's about sending a message.
Yes. Everything burns.
Everything burns.
Yeah. We had this big, for those, the reason I brought up Philip Fulmer is in our text group, we had this back and forth about Philip Fulmer. And I thought Day was talking about, he said he stole money, and I thought he was talking about the money they gave him to go away. I'm like, hey, wait a minute. Like, if somebody pays me to go home and sit, I'll take it. That ain't my fault. But I thought I misunderstood what you were saying about that.
He's a thief.
Wish Gavin was here to really express his feelings about Philip Fulmer, his idol.
Gavin wasn't alive.
I appreciate him in that moment, but he has tarnished his legacy forever for me.
I mean, really, from a coaching, we'll get back on Vitello, but from a coaching standpoint, I blame the downfall of our football program. Y'all probably disagree or may disagree. That's Mike Hamilton. He handled that whole situation so wrong. He should have let Fulmer go out on his own terms. Florida State did the same thing with Bobby Bowden. They're just now recovering like we are. So it's you got to handle these things right. I mean, the guy won 151 games here, 2 SEC titles, a national title, and was winning 8, 9, 10 games every year. And he had two, 05 and 08. But why? Like, what was the reason? I mean, why get rid of that? Why? I mean, that was my whole thing. I just felt like he made a panic move. I didn't disagree with the hire of Lane Kiffin, but that came back to bite us. Ryan Burkhart said after he left, it would set the program back 10 years, and it did.
It did. And then they hired Fulmer back, and it set the program back 7 more years.
I mean, I honestly don't think that Fulmer come in because of goof ass. I mean, imagine, I don't know. I thought he did a pretty decent job as AD. I mean, other than keeping Rick Barnes, they should have let him go to UCLA, and we wouldn't be in this situation now. But other than that,
what situation are we in? Oh, you got Day-Day's eyes wide open. You got me rolling my eyes.
Pretty good job at AD.
Harbin's pounding his head over.
There was only one sport performing, and it's the guy you can't stand.
Who did he hire? Who did he hire when he was Kelly Harper was his only hire, wasn't it?
It's some volleyball coach that got ran off like immediately.
No, she's still here. I think she's still here.
I thought she got ran off.
He hired Pruitt too, did he not?
Oh yeah,
he did.
The thing about it was like, who are we going to get right then? I mean, it was bad.
We wasn't getting anybody. We wasn't getting anybody.
No, so I mean,
I don't blame him for that hire in that moment. It's everything that came after that. And how
no, you're right. It's what happened while they were here, while they were in power, so to speak. It wasn't the actual hire, because when you look at it on paper, I mean, Jeremy Pruitt was a very successful defensive coordinator, and he followed Kirby Smart. And, of course, everybody's pretty successful at Alabama until recently on defense. But, I mean, on paper, it looked like a good hire. He was an old school coach, redneck sounding guy. Sounds like us, Harb. And
yeah,
it
turned out it was sometimes you just hire the wrong person.
Two of the funniest things to come from Fulmer as AD. One, it makes everybody forget how bad John Kerry was at the job. And second, I think everybody just glosses over the fact that John Kerry hired Tony Vitello. I just think that's some fun. I think it's hilarious. That's absolutely hilarious to me. The Kerry
Day-Day, don't answer this. Who hired Rick Barnes? You know who hired him.
I do.
Was it Curry?
No.
Fulmer.
No.
It was
Fulmer gave him
before Fulmer and Curry. Fulmer gave him the extension after UCLA wanted him, and we wouldn't pay they wouldn't pay the buyout.
Oh, it was Hart, wasn't it?
Dollar Store Dave.
God almighty.
Another Bammer.
Old Dave Sharp, who took away the Lady Vols logo.
Yes.
Just brilliant move. And I'll give him credit. He hired Rick Barnes.
Oh, it's nothing against the Lady Vols. But it's funny. Now there's articles being written that they shouldn't be referred to as Lady Vols. Like, what? Pick something. Pick a side.
Yeah. Why?
You're going to be the Vols, or you're going to be the Lady Vols. Just pick one.
I mean,
please.
they pretty much like.
I have a question. If you were a blind man and you read the wins and losses of the season in Braille side by side, could you tell the difference between the Lady Vols and the men Vols this year?
Are you talking about SEC record or overall?
I'm
record?
talking about the whole thing, just side by side, just sitting here reading.
What do they got? 10 10 losses?
The girls beat who they're supposed to beat and
Braille.
lose who they're supposed to lose to, and the guys are pretty much the exact opposite. Pretty much.
But seriously,
I mean, if you look at the
that's the
record,
difference.
yes.
I have to
That's the
Google the
difference.
female record. Hold on.
I think they're 21-10. Yeah, they're 21-10, but they're 13-3 in the conference. But they lost to number 14 Ohio State, number 12 at the time. These are at the time. I don't know where they're at now. I think these all are still ranked. Indiana. They lost to UCLA, unranked. Lost to Gonzaga, unranked. Lost to number 9 Virginia Tech. Number 2 Stanford lost. And then they got hot there in January, won a bunch of games, I think like 9 in a row maybe. Lost to number 5 UConn. Number 3 LSU, lost. Won a couple
South
more.
Carolina twice.
They lost
But
to
the moral of the
Mississippi.
story,
Lost to
is
Mississippi
Braille.
State.
no, you couldn't tell.
No, you couldn't. But when you look at the schedule, you'll see obvious difference. But Tennessee, like if you look at, I looked it up. Yes, I looked at the net rankings for the women the other day.
Oh dear
Tennessee's
God.
like 14, but they're not ranked in the AP or whatever poll the women use. I don't know what they use.
rankings don't matter. Wins in February don't matter as long as they like you.
Where do the females in Knoxville rank in average fingernail length? You got to be like top 3, right?
But with Key not in the lineup, it probably goes down quite a bit.
Oh no, yeah, we ain't even in top 25.
It's eyelashes and fingernails. The bigger they are, the better you are.
Easier to dribble.
I think Tennessee. Me
Go
and my
for
dad have had
rebounding,
this
too.
conversation. Tennessee's better without her in the lineup, and
She's
I've not
lazy.
watched a lot of Lady Vols. Let's not get into that. I've only watched probably like 5 or 6 games this year.
Not judging, bro. You
But
enjoy
I
that
watched
type of
them some
basketball?
last year, and I watched some of them this year. They're better without her, and they play better
lazy.
since she went down. So,
I've watched maybe a total of like 7 minutes and 42 seconds of women's college basketball this season.
I watched the UConn game, and then I watched part of a
watch
game
the
on
ones
Sunday.
The Sunday ones are just catnappers for me, so I watch them.
Well, now NASCAR's back on, so we can take a nap during that. I took a long nap during the Fontana
too.
race last Saturday or Sunday.
Boys, it's golf season.
Yes.
I'm watching baseball. I don't care what you're watching. I'm watching.
I can't watch
Tennessee
baseball because I've got YouTube TV and there's no baseball on it now.
I want to talk about, just real quick, I do want to talk about some golf that's happened recently.
Hold on a second. Well, let's get golf here in a second, but let's finish up UT baseball.
Okay.
Are they going to go on a tear like they did last year after all this has happened? Play with a chip on their shoulder again? Everybody doesn't like them still. Now they're dressing like Jedi Knights for home runs.
I'm
really
glad they have their own thing, though.
Oh, hold on. Y'all talk. Well, I need to get something.
Daddy Hat kind of ran its course, I think. You know, the coat was fun last year. I mean, the Daddy Hat's probably still in there somewhere. But, I mean, it's fun.
Put your cloak on.
I don't have it in this room, but here's my lightsaber. Go Vols.
Oh, I'll be back. It's going to take me about 2 minutes. I'll be back.
Well,
that's what she said.
Uh,
Harbin, what about golf, real quick?
So, before I get into the meat of this, last weekend, Honda Classic, I was disappointed in the field because normally the Honda is where a lot of big names play. But the biggest names I saw in like the top 15 was like Shane Lowry and
yeah, it was a weaker field than normal.
It was, but the ending to that golf tournament was as good as anybody could have hoped for. I mean, you have Chris Kirk, who hadn't won in 8 years, but in 2023, the top 6 in strokes gained total is Scheffler, JT, Morikawa, Rory, Rahm, and Chris Kirk, which is absolutely insane to me. But he battled it out with a 34-year-old rookie. And the guy that came in third was the very last guy to make it in the field through the Monday qualifier. So all that was awesome. It went to a playoff. But the thing that the PGA did something very interesting today.
I saw this.
How many quote unquote elevated tournaments are there going to be? They say 8 or 10.
Think it was 8. I think I haven't got to really read about it. I just saw a clip of it.
So essentially, what this is, for those that don't keep up with golf, in most of the regular tournaments, the field is around 140, 150, and there's a cut. Top 60 and ties make the cut, or top 50, whatever. In this now, there's going to be 75 to 80 golfers.
Yeah,
and there's going to be no cut. Which at first I hated it when I first heard about it. And they were like, oh, well, like, if you can only come Saturday and you want to see Tiger, even if he shoots 80, 82, he'll still be there. How many people really want to watch Tiger limping on Sunday, 37 shots behind the leaders? I mean,
that's my whole thing with it is you're going to have guys that have no shot of winning this thing. Why are they there after Friday?
I essentially think you're just going to see a lot of WDs on Saturday and Sunday. That's how I'm kind of looking at it.
Maybe it's kind of like me in the Straw Plains Open. I'm out of it on Thursday because I have to play with Charles Schad. So I'm just there hanging out, having fun the rest of the week, even though I have no shot to win the thing.
Yeah. But I watched a video of Max Homa talking about it, and Max Homa is probably my favorite golfer right now outside of Tiger. But hey, I mean, he kind of put an interesting spin on it. Like, for the top guys, I mean, it's the same amount of golf, same tournament that you would have been playing in anyway for more money. And it doesn't really hurt the other half that would have been in it, because they're still going to play in the other tournaments that have bigger purses, essentially. But I don't know. Jay Monahan's an idiot, and I think he's letting Liv influence him too much.
He is. I mean, did you see Liv's ratings last weekend on the CW? It was
terrible.
Awful. 0.8 rating. That's awful.
No, 0.26.
Oh, I thought it was 0.8. I thought.
No, America's Cutest Animals, which also ran on CW that day, drew a higher rating. Here's my thing. If I'm Jay Monahan and I'm saying that Liv is no competition to the PGA Tour, here's my thing. You increase the purses for the tournament because you have the ability to do so. Do that. That's fine. The players that stayed deserve it. Outside of that, change absolutely nothing. Dig in your heels and say, y'all mean nothing to us. And we're the PGA Tour, and we're always going to be the biggest stage for golf. I don't know why they keep changing shit. I just think I don't know.
Harbin, it was worse than what you said. I'm reading in golf.com. It was 0.18.
Oh.
And the Honda Classic on NBC had a 1.24, nearly 7 times as many as the Liv.
And it was a guy that hadn't won in 8 years and a 34-year-old rookie battling it out. It wasn't even like it was Scheffler and Rahm that was going at it in the Waste Management.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just...
Dude, golf, like, I need my second TV back in my living room. Between golf and NASCAR being back on the air on Sunday afternoons, there's a lot. People always say, like, football, when football's over, there's nothing to watch. There's plenty to watch. And then baseball starts up here in a month or so. There's plenty to watch.
Where's Day-Day?
I don't know. He said he'd be back in 2 minutes, and then he came back, and then he left again. I don't know what he's doing.
They're probably scheduling a Disney trip.
And what is that on his screen? Is that a chair?
It's his chair and his green screen.
Oh. I don't know where he's at.
What did Vitello say? I haven't heard about this. I heard you say a quote.
I haven't heard it either.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen a quote. All I know is the quote that UT put out about his suspension, but I haven't seen a quote from Vitello.
Okay. That's what I was thinking too, maybe.
So I'm a little nervous. I'm a little nervous. Like, the Hornets play for a region championship tomorrow night at Jim Williams Gymnasium. Huge crowd expected from what I'm hearing. I don't know if it'll be like
Capacity.
I don't know if it'll be like when Bowden and them were playing. Who was that? Unicoi County to go to the state tournament that year, Harbin?
1 year it was Unicoi, and the other year it was Greenville.
That's right.
Hey, how did the game on Saturday work with the theater presentation next door?
Oh, it gets better. There was something else last night.
No, really?
Day-Day's got his lightsaber. Yes.
Oh,
Can't see it,
He's
though.
got the Sith lightsaber. Let's go.
wow.
You can't see it though.
I can see the red in your face. I gotta put new batteries
Yeah,
in this
he's
thing.
out of batteries.
Tell me you're gay without telling me you're gay, right?
Hey,
not a big Star
easy.
Wars, not a big Star Wars guy, but I might have to order me a Mace Windu. Was this purple or green?
His was purple. That was the only.
I need me a purple one.
So that's the only reason. One of the reasons he agreed to do those movies was he didn't want a blue lightsaber. He wanted a purple. And the only reason he came back to do the third one was because he wanted to die in just a quote badass way, is what he said. So he got electrocuted and thrown out a window for like a mile. So he got what he wanted.
Didn't the handle that they used in filming, didn't it have BMF engraved on his?
Maybe I hadn't heard that. I'll have to look that one up.
I don't know.
But yeah, so Carter hosted the quarterfinal round of the region tournament, and for some reason, and I guess they didn't know this when they scheduled it, is what I'm hearing. They had a production all weekend of, was it The Little Mermaid in the auditorium? And I'm all about those kids need to have their show too. I just could not figure out for the life of me why you would schedule those two events. Wow, now he's got a green one.
Oh wow.
Same one.
But why would you schedule those two events? And then last night they had a freaking band concert going on. And I was told by sources that it was scheduled well in advance of them knowing that they were going to have this game, which I can see that. But I got there at the game started at first game was at 6. I got there at 5:25 and the parking lot was just a zoo outside already. But yeah, they got a big game tomorrow night. They're hosting the Halls Red Devils. Halls has it. What in the?
That's the crystal.
Oh,
So if you go to Disney, you can build you a lightsaber.
the Kaiser Crystal.
Niece, they should
Kyber
just
crystal.
they should just went to the Tennessee Theater to have that crap. That's where all the crappy people play, right? Like 69 Remington and
Oh,
I didn't go to the
Myers
Tennessee
or
Theater for either one of those concerts.
69 Remington.
All right, you ready for Tony's quote?
Yeah, we
Because
want to
they
hear
had to
about,
talk
and we'll
about
get back to
the-
the Hornets here in a minute. But let's hear. We don't know what Tony's quote is.
You say whatever you want about me behind my back because I won't hear it. You can write whatever you want about me because I won't read it. Tony.
Well,
mock drop.
I think I've said that before.
More money,
yeah.
more problems.
Oh, I know where he lives now. By the way, Logan
Me too.
Logan
He had us
shared.
over the other day.
Maybe I shouldn't say this
Oh.
story. Maybe he
Yeah.
sent it to you, Har. I won't say this on here. We'll talk about it.
He did.
I don't want to get. I don't want to get Logan in trouble.
No,
It's pretty well knowledge where he lives though.
Where is it? I just want to see if we're on the same page here.
He lives above Marble Alley or
There you go.
Marble City Market.
There at Regas, yes, because I
Yeah,
looked up the
like,
address.
Well, I mean,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's well known that he fishes in the pond downstairs, and the Maserati's parked outside, so it's very public knowledge.
I did not know that until I saw
Yeah,
that, and I
in
googled the
the pond.
address, and I was like, oh,
So there's like a big 40-person bar downstairs. I don't know if you've ever been, but it's like
I've
a
just
food
been.
court.
I've just been to the food court place.
Yeah,
I'm
so
not.
there's a food court and there's a big square bar. And
Oh
it's like-
yes.
it's like 40 people
Yes.
bar. Well, anyway, he just walks downstairs and casts out, and
It just sits there. He's just hanging out.
Real
even
quick,
without the beard, he's a pretty good fisherman, I hear.
real quick, I have a hilarious Tony V story, and I think this is either from his first or second year here. And I'm going to leave the names out. I believe the guy in this story is a listener of the pod, so I'm going to leave the names out. And I'll make it quick. This listener of our show, received a text message from a good looking young lady and said, "Hey, come out to the bars with us, hang out." So he goes down there. They're hanging out. You know, he's trying to put a move on. Well, at the end of the night, when it's time to hit the road, he's like, "Hey, like, let's go. Blah blah blah. We're going together, right?" And she goes, "Oh no. I'm actually seeing somebody." And he was like, "Why the hell did you invite me down here?" 2 minutes later, Maserati pulls up in the Old City. Beautiful young lady hops in, and the quote of the century was, I guess my Ford Taurus can't damn compete with the Maserati." So,
And this is a listener of the show.
I believe so. I know for a fact 3 out of the 4 of us know him very well. So
Listen, I say that you give us his name because if you're competing for girls with Tony Vitello, that's pretty impressive.
well, obviously he wasn't competing. I mean,
I don't know who drives
squashed pretty
I'm
good.
trying to figure out who it is by what. I don't know anybody that drives
Slightly
a Ford
altered the
Taurus.
make of the car to make it tougher. But anyway,
Oh.
Tony Vitello is what Lane Kiffin wishes he was. But Tony Vitello's not married out here, you know, Joey Freshwater in it. He's just, hey, my name's Tony Vitello. I coach the Vols. Want to bang? They say yes.
hard life.
We'll get the name of this young buck off the air that was hanging out with one of Tony V's ladies.
Charles Shaw, he drives a Taurus, I think.
That is true. I forgot about old Chuck's Taurus.
Can confirm it was not Charles Shaw.
Okay.
He's got big hands.
So yeah, I'm nervous this game tomorrow night. There's gonna be a lot of people there. I got a lot of pressure on me, Harbin.
You do. No stuttering.
No stuttering. I can't mess anything up. Starting lineups.
Pronunciations need to be correct.
So last night for Clinton, they sent me a roster earlier in the day, and I typed everything out because I keep this sheet next to me where I keep track of fouls and all that. And this kid came in, and I announced his name like 3 times, and the scorekeeper for Clinton finally looked at me, and he said, that ain't that kid. Well, they sent me the 21-22 roster. And this kid was still on the team, but he had a different number. So I announced his name like 3 or 4 times, and it wasn't my fault. But anyway, yeah, huge game. I'm going to give 3 shout-outs because we're running up against it here. So the Hornets tomorrow night, we are 1 win away from having the Slim Reaper on here. If they win tomorrow, if they win Thursday night, the Slim Reaper will be on the show. We may have to do a special edition. If they win tomorrow night, I'd like to get him on here before the Sub-State game on Monday, which they'll play in regardless of how they do tomorrow night. But I made him a promise that he would be on here, and he's really excited. I think that's what's fueling this team right now is making a run to get the Slim Reaper on the show.
Them and your golden throat.
Yeah, the golden-throated negative knees.
Right.
Brody's got that YY8 boost going.
Yeah, and he's been at our tailgate, so he's no stranger to the rain. Let's see. Jake Minot, his birthday is today. Listener of the show, shout out Jake. And also, this guy's birthday was earlier in the week. Jack Doty, and he won his soccer tournament last weekend. So, shout out Jack Doty. And happy birthday, Jake and Jack.
Happy birthday, brother Minot.
That's all I got for this show. What do y'all got to close it out with?
Philip Fulmer's overrated. I'm going to bed.
Harbin, what do you got?
Go Hornets.
Did the Hornets win tomorrow night against a tough physical Halls team?
Yes.
I hate Halls. Yes, is the answer to that.
I don't have a problem. We never played Halls hardly at all when I was in high school. They were a class above us.
Hey man, I'm just trying to get fired up. I'm trying to talk myself into it.
There you go.
Does Halls have any black players?
Multiple, yes.
Really?
Yes, and they're very good.
Interesting.
And the reason we say that for those that don't know what we're talking about, Halls for years never had any African Americans on their campus, and the times have changed. It's good for them. It's a totally different. I mean, they have African Americans on their athletic teams. If we were having this conversation 20 years ago, it wouldn't have been this way, which is crazy. And
That's
even
why
in
I
the
asked.
early 2000s. So yes, they do.
No, I think the Hornets pull it out. Home court's going to help a lot. And that game for Monday, it is absolutely huge to have home court advantage in that.
Yes.
Strawberry Plains is hungry. They're looking for their first state tournament bid in 8 years. So
God, has it been that long? It has been, hasn't it?
2015. Yep.
Jeez.
It was my junior year. So yeah, go Hornets. Looking forward to having Brody on the show this weekend, hopefully. So use that as fuel on the fire. Straw Plains needs it. Come on, hashtag come to the Plains.
Come to the Plains. And you're right. They win that game tomorrow night on Thursday night and host on Monday. They'll either play Volunteer or Unicoi County. It's a huge home court advantage.
Volunteer in Unicoi County.
Unicoi upset Greenville last night in a huge upset, and Volunteer upset Tennessee High, the two probably best teams in that region in Northeast Tennessee were upset.
Wow. Yeah, when you said Volunteer and Unicoi, I was like, you're leaving somebody out of that.
Tennessee High was like 27-7, and Greenville was about right there with them, and they both got upset last night.
Well, good for Volunteer in Unicoi County.
John Doty, an alumnus of Greenville High School, was not pleased. He felt like Unicoi County got a favorable whistle all night. He wasn't there, but that's what he said. That's the only reason Greenville could have lost that game. Big Montana, what do you got to close us out with?
Go Hornets. I'm looking forward to the young gentleman from Mascot being on the podcast. He's a dog. Just because where he hails from, also because of his athletic ability. Hopefully the Vols finish the season out, start SEC play or SEC tournament with the win, get that bye. Philip Fulmer is your all-time winningest coach in college football history at Tennessee, and he is a dog. He is also a national champion. You don't like him, you suck. Get over it. Lightsabers are stupid. Bring back the pimp coat. Harbin, I'm sorry I talked about your hair. I love it. I'm envious of it. What else?
I'll give you some hair if you give me some beard.
With that.
Yeah.
Day, I got your second favorite ball here in my hand.
There you go.
Is it the left or the right one?
Probably third favorite. Hey.
Hey, one last thing. I did want to give an extended shout out to Jake Minot. One of my best friends. Happy birthday, brother. Also, he's turned it on for the Carson Newman Eagles as a super senior. In their 2 spring tournaments. He has a top 5 and a top 10.
Please tell me that you saw his tweet the other day.
Yes, and he has top 5 funniest tweet of 2023.
That was fantastic. He, I don't know if you saw it, Big Montana, but there was a picture, I guess Carson Newman tweeted of him swinging, and it was on his follow through. A little bit of his stomach was hanging out of his shirt, and he said, "God, it looks like I need a longer shirt." And Carson Newman basically wrote back like, "No, you don't."
Listen, boys, my
He's letting
papa
that
told
feed
me.
sack hang out.
My papa told me a long time ago. If you're proud of your tractor, build a barn over it. By God, that's what we did. That gentleman, just let it grow, buddy. It's a feed sack. Just keep feeding it.
Hey, it's like I told Jake after that. That's what peak performance of the male body looks like. And if you don't like it, you can kiss my ass, his ass, and anybody else's.
Damn right. If you're proud of your tractor, build a barn over it.
Day, any closing thoughts? Or you already said Philip Fulmer's.
Yeah, no. I hope the Vols perform well Saturday. Carry it into the tournament.
I need a win. Vols need a win to close out 12-6 in conference play. Lock up that 3 or 4 seed in the SEC tournament. Lock up that 2 or 3 or 4 seed in the NCAA. Real quick before I sign off, I am going to do the Section YY podcast bracket challenge, free to anybody who wants to enter, and I'm going to get a Alumni Hall gift card for the winner. It's winner take all, no second place.
Aw.
$50.
10. I'm
10?
kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I don't know. We'll have to figure that out.
I think that
I was thinking 20. I was thinking 25.
How about we all, and we'll include Gavin because he's in this. We'll all Venmo you $10, and you throw in $10 and make it $50.
Fair enough.
That way they can at least buy a
T-shirt. Two for 38 T-shirts.
Yeah, something.
I was in there today at lunch, and they've got some new golf polos with the rifleman on it and interlocking UT.
I did order from the Vol Shop. I ordered the new Tennessee baseball tricolor shirt. I can't wait. Those are comfy T-shirts.
Nice.
By the way, we're all gonna be chipping in $12.50 because we ain't heard from Gavin in years.
Yeah, that's true.
I did talk to Gavin today. He is still with us, but I think what's happened is he's muted our text group again.
Sad.
Because he told me a while back he had muted the text group accidentally. I think he did it on purpose.
Accidentally. You don't accidentally mute a text group.
He muted it, but
I don't even know how to do it. So if you do,
I don't either. I don't either.
Impressive, yeah.
All right. Well, that's this week's show. Appreciate Harb, Day Vol, Big Montana coming on. Vols versus Bruce Pearl this Saturday. Stephen Pearl still sucks after all these years. So they'll wrap up the regular season. We'll be back next week to talk SEC tournament. Can the Vols repeat and hold on to their crown? We'll see how things shake out. But that's this week's show. Appreciate everybody listening, and we'll see you guys next time on the Section YY8 podcast.